Well, what makes a piece of clothing New Zealand made? The renowned fashion label World has come under scrutiny for labelling T-shirts as New Zealand made when they were actually made offshore by another brand. As a result, it may have found itself falling foul of the law. Our reporter Sarah Robson has the story.
Christine Crabb is the director and designer behind the label Miss Crabb. She says about 99% of her production happens in Auckland, not too far from her studio in Grey Lynn. She's got a network of machinists who work from home, but a shortage of industrial knitters around the country means that work is done in Tauranga.
We deal with everyone, on a personal level. We can go and figure out any problems or be really face-to-face about deadlines and things like that. So it's really awesome. I love that we make in New Zealand.
But Christine Crabb says producing everything in New Zealand does have its limits. For the first time ever, she's doing a run of denim jeans and jackets in Australia because she isn't able to do a certain wash here.
So rather than getting the jeans made here, sending them to Australia to get washed and then send them back, we're just getting the whole run done in Australia, which is a new thing for us.
But Christine Crabb says that's something they will be transparent about with their customers. That's a contrast to World's approach. Consumer New Zealand Chief Executive Sue Chetwin says World could be falling foul of fair trading laws by putting Made in New Zealand swing tags on T-shirts that are actually made offshore. She says under the law, customers shouldn't be deceived or misled by labels, and if they aren't happy, they should take the items back.
They thought it was a T-shirt that was designed and made in New Zealand by World, and that's why they paid a premium for it. I mean, they could probably go and buy the same T-shirt for about a quarter of the price, at another shop.
Anna Hayward from Buy New Zealand Made says while World isn't one of its licensees, the T-shirts wouldn't meet its criteria for the use of its branding. She says simply embellishing a garment locally at the end of the production process isn't enough.
For us to be happy for it to be labelled as New Zealand made, it needs to be sewn here. It needs to go through a significant manufacturing process. So sticking on a patch onto an already created garment isn't enough of a process.
Claire Hart is the project manager of Tier Fund's Ethical Fashion Guide. She says unless a garment is made from wool, it's near impossible to make a garment from start to finish in New Zealand.
You can definitely get garments that are made final stage manufacturing here in New Zealand. So that might mean that the garment's actually sewn together here. But especially when it comes to cotton, we don't farm cotton in New Zealand, we don't gin it, we don't produce fabric. So you can't do a farm-to-shop production of a cotton garment here in New Zealand en masse.
When Dame Denise was awarded her New Year's honour last year, she told RNZ that she was most proud of the fact all of World's designs were still New Zealand made. She went on to say she wanted to rebrand the Made in New Zealand logo to better promote goods here.
Not an enormous fan of the Kiwi in the triangle, because I don't think it represents us properly, not for fashion design, but for across the board of New Zealand design. I might even put it out there to students to come up with a logo that every New Zealand-made designer would be happy to put on their product.
The Commerce Commission says it's so far received 5 complaints about World's labels. It says it's taken a number of country of origin cases in recent years, but none of them have involved clothing. Last year, a health supplement company and its owner were fined more than $500,000 for claiming bee pollen was New Zealand made when it was in fact sourced in China. Almost a dozen companies have been prosecuted since 2011 for selling imported alpaca rugs as made in New Zealand. Mō te hōtaka o te ahi, ko Sarah Robson, aho.